I'm dirty. Hey guys, gonna do this elk hunting video a little bit different than the past. Mix it up a little bit. Mostly narrative, gonna throw in a little bit of actual vid from the trip, but oh my gosh, was this a good one. A buddy and I went up. It was about 4 miles to the trailhead. We hiked in, fully loaded packs, of course, because we were gonna stay on the top of a peak so we could get up in the morning and almost just roll out of where we stayed and do some glassing. Next morning, my buddy came to me and says, "Hey, did you see our visitor at night?" I said, "No, I didn't." I said, I heard you get up and I heard you fiddle around with the tent and stuff, but I figured you had to get up and take a leak or something. He says, "Yeah, we had a big old bull moose walk right in the middle of us." So you got to understand, my hammock, his tent, maybe 10 feet apart. So big old bull moose came right through the middle of it. But waking up that morning, that wind was just howling. Sitting on the top of this peak, he was glassing one side, I was glassing the other. And man, was it cold. It was really cold in that wind. Side I was glassing, I didn't see much at all. Eventually he did come over and I did spot a cow moose. Not sure how long we glassed. Honestly guys, when I'm out there, time just kind of ceases to exist and I'm just enjoying it. But we weren't seeing much. He did see other moose. He saw another bull moose, just not elk. So we packed up and full camp and we headed down a saddle, went up another ridge line, and then we started glassing over there. As we did that, we ran into another bull moose. Now, what was funny to me, I mean, I love these experiences, right? I love running into animals like that. This bull moose, he was a little guy. I mean, still, moose are big, but for a moose, he was just a young one. But I came around the corner and I could see my hunting partner, he was off a little bit. And then I spotted the moose and I was trying to get his attention so he could see the moose just because I wanted to share that experience. The funny thing is he'd actually already jumped that moose. I was about 40 yards from the moose when I first spotted it. He was 5 yards away from the moose when he first spotted it. He told me, he says, I just wasn't paying attention. I was thinking too much about glassing, and he come up over this little ridge and the moose was bedded. Moose went one way, he went the other way. Glad that moose decided to play nice with us, but that was a fun experience. Walked down a couple more feet and we also ran into some cat tracks on the top of that mountain. At this point, aside from the moose, we're just still not seeing a lot of elk. We're seeing sign, not fresh sign like we'd like to see, but we're seeing tracks, we're seeing a bit of scat. So we continue along this ridge line, and I wish I could have got more footage of this, guys, because it's just gorgeous. I mean, being up there in this rugged country. Kept walking. We hit another ridge line, and we had to go down a little saddle up to another one. The reason we jumped onto that ridge line is it gave us a much better view of where we wanted to be. In the midst of this, I did spot another bull moose. He was bedded. I wish we could have got some close-up footage of him, because from that distance, looking at his rack, he appeared to be pretty big. glassed a little while from this peak. We decided to sit there and have some lunch as well. Eventually we decided to, because again, no elk, we decided to go back and hit a ridge line and then drop all the way to the bottom. So everything said and done, it was about a 10 to 12 mile trip and just an overnight and some serious elevation gain. It was tough going, but on our way down, we're doing some glassing, and we're glassing even some of the areas that we'd already been. So now we're on a ridge line. So the main top is here, but now we're going down a ridge line here that splits these two valleys. So now we're glassing this valley where we had just come from, but it's interesting looking at things from different angles. You can see different things, and sure enough, I spotted something that was bed down, very dark, and I'm looking at it through the binos. I'm like, that's a bear. That is a bear. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is this really my first black bear as opposed to the one that I'm not really counting in Yellowstone?
But don't say that.
So I'm looking at it a bit close. I tell him, I said, hey, go these fingers over these pines. It's bedded right down in there. And he says, yeah. He says, that's either a bear or a cow moose. It's hard to tell. He says, it looks like it got hips. Took out a spotting scope, he handed it to me and said, you want to do the honors? And I was like, yeah, I want to, I was just hoping it was a bear, right? So I get that spotting scope on it, and I'm looking, and I'm looking, and it's a moose. Cow moose. So she was just bedded down there in the pine. So I was a little disappointed it wasn't a bear, but hey, what do you do? The one thing I learned from that experience is where she was bedded. So we're looking at her from this angle, and she's in between these pines, this little pocket of pines right here, is if you move right over here, looking this way because of the pines, you're not going to see her. Over this way, you're not going to see her. So I mean, how many elk were really in there that we couldn't see? I don't know, but I know they were in there because as we continued down, we got to this area that was completely surrounded by pines, and it was just this little pocket on this flat area of the ridge, and there was scat from estimating about the morning time. We were there, I don't know, 3 o'clock-ish, around that time frame, and there was some very, very fresh scat. What we're thinking is we may have even bumped them going down. One thing, the guy I went with doesn't hear so well. I don't hear so well, so I was kind of chuckling at just a bunch of deaf guys running around trying to hear stuff. But on our way down that ridge, I know we bumped something because I could kind of hear it crashing through. It was a ways away, so I don't know, could have been a deer, could have been a moose. That place was just full of moose everywhere. I've never seen so many bull moose. That was a really cool experience. But we dropped down some really steep elevation trying to hit some quakies and pines down at the bottom just to see, kind of aiming back towards the truck if we could flush anything at that point. Didn't see much going down either, and we got into some really thick area. It was hard moving. Rain rolled in just a little bit. I mean, just enough to kind of mist. It almost felt good. It was one of those trips where you were either freezing or you were sweating to death because you were moving so much. It was kind of one of those trips. But when we were going down, you know, going up and going down are both hard, but they're hard in different ways. But didn't see anything there. Long story short, we made it back to the truck. Had a lot of cool experiences up there. Got to pick his brain a lot. He's hunted the area and taken a some big deer out of there. He's taken a lot of elk out of there, actually. He was surprised that we didn't see anything. I'm starting to think that maybe I'm a bad luck charm for elk. Guys, I'm loving this stuff. I know the elk vids aren't hugely popular on my channel. I don't care. I just love this stuff so much. I'm addicted. I can't get enough of it. I'm listening to podcasts on the way to work, hunting. I'm watching hunting videos. I'm just addicted to it. Love the process. It's kind of fun to learn something new. Thanks for watching. Not giving up, even if it takes me next year. We'll see you.